r/ask Reddit. What's the weirdest thing you've seen happen at a friend's house that they thought was normal? When I was in high school, a friend asked me and 2 other friends to his house for dinner. His mom served homemade bean soup, which was very good. Toward the end of the main course, she brought out chocolate cake for dessert. She cut each of us a slice and plopped it into our bowls, in which we each still had about an inch of soup. Us guests exchanged puzzled glances, but the family dug right in. So apparently chocolate cake soaked in bean soup was an ordinary thing for them. What the duck? This is the only correct response. When I was like 10 or 11, a new kid moved into our town and started at our school. I was always super nice to new kids because I moved a bit and changed schools a bit. I knew how hard it was. We made friends and he had me over for a sleepover. He decided to show me a Polaroid picture of his mother having sex with a dog. I was just like, WTF dude, let's play Nintendo. And we have a winner. Edit. This one was bad enough. I'm not going looking for whatever this bean soup cake business is. Nobody wins in this scenario. My childhood best friend lived with his grandparents. His grandfather was a clockmaker. He mostly restored them. Their large 2-story houses' walls were covered in old restored grandfather and cuckoo clocks. Each one had a small sticker with a number so he could keep track of them all. The highest number I saw was over 700. I would say 25% of them were wound, so every hour you were treated to a symphony of clocks. I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid, but those clocks were fantastic pieces of workmanship. For all the creepy stories on this thread, this one is nice and wholesome. This happened when I was like 6. I needed to use a bathroom at a friend's house and he led me to his parents' bathroom. The place was filled with crap of all sorts. Boxes, magazines, an inflatable pool, lots of other stuff. You could barely get in there. He pulled out a drawer from the installed cabinet by the entryway and said to pee in there. I thought he was joking until he went ahead and peed in there himself. I couldn't argue with that, so I too peed right in there. Then he shut the drawer and we went and played more Ninja Turtles. I have no idea what became of that drawer/house family. Mom found the piss drawer. Man, that's sad. It's really hard for children of hoarders to break free from hoarding. They're just too used to tolerating bad conditions rather than fixing them. I knew a guy whose mom's house was like that. He did his best to live with higher standards, but his best was still like a party frat house. Although, I guess to be fair, some of my friends who grew up in normal houses also live like they're in a frat houses. Rich friend's family had rooms not touched in weeks that had vomit on the bedsheets from one of their parties. Sounds like the maid walked off. My mother-in-law used to clean houses. The wealthiest people were also the most helpless. Once she cleaned up a mouse that had been dead for a week, the family just stepped around it. Someone was in the bathroom, so the kid who lived there went into the back garden, took a shit in the flower bed and shoveled dirt on top of it. The bathroom was free by the time he'd finished. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Frustrate, defecate, celebrate. Saw my friend spit in her house, straight onto the carpet. I didn't go back. It's been a full 90 seconds since I read this and I still can't focus enough to move on to the next one. I'm learning that it's the filthy people who shock me. I guess I expect perverts, but peeing in bathroom drawers and spitting on the carpet is too much for me. When I was a kid, the neighbor's TV was always at 75% volume or higher. They'd literally sit in the living room and scream at each other over the TV on blast. My partner's friends do this but with music. The dad always has the music on full blast so everyone has to yell to have a conversation. I hate going to their house. Also, I hate having them over because, since they have to yell at home, they talk that way all the time. They're just super loud all the time. They're really nice people but I can't stand being around them. Maybe they all have hearing damage at this point. One time I was at my friend's house while his dad was working late. His mom brought home 2 Little Caesars pizzas for us, his brother and his parents. By the time his dad got home from work, there was no pizza, so his dad just made himself a salad for dinner and no one got screamed at until they cried. Edit. Well shit, I didn't see this coming. I'm sorry dude. I was shocked the first time I saw normal parents too. Posts and threads. Like this make me realize I take a lot of things in my life for granted that I should appreciate more. I have an opposite one because I had the weird family. In high school I had a sleepover and one friend went to the kitchen in the middle of the night and saw my dad inebriated, in his underwear and stained shirt, on his knees in front of the fridge drinking mustard out of the bottle. Monday rolls around and the rumors have spread and I was like, wait, all your dads don't do that too. LOL BTW, he did in fact have his own separate mustard bottle. This just reeks of questions I'm afraid to ask. Safe to say dad in a drinking problem. Edit these replies y'all. LMAO. I had a friend in high school whose mother was from Jamaica. His family would colon cleanse together every year. I guess it was customary from his mom's culture. So literally they'd take medicine to make themselves shit their brains out for a day or two every year. Notable mention, they only had one bathroom. My Caribbean mother's just been shitting herself hollow. Jamaica? No. She took the laxatives herself. Don't know the details about Jamaica, but in some tropical developing locations it's pretty common for kids to get dewormed each year. Friend's amputee grandpa demanded to watch everyone in the bathroom when they went. He had a mirror so he could watch you. When I didn't fall for that, they put shampoo in my hair so I'd have to take a shower. Nope the F out and called my mom. Friend didn't think it was odd. Edit. LOL 3 wholesome awards. Thanks. Edit. I think my frequently asked questions edit didn't save. Did I tell my mom? No, I did not. I felt embarrassed about it. Who put the shampoo in my hair? My friend did. I am a woman. And here's some random information. I remember my friend's dad having to piss with the door open so that grandpa could watch him do it. I also remember the grandpa pissing into a jug in front of everyone. I also remember crying and saying I wanted to go home and they wouldn't let me call my mom. So I kept crying until they finally gave in. This is by far one of the most creepy. God, I'm glad their shampoo thing didn't work. That's so demented. I can see how, especially as a kid, being so uncomfortable and caught off guard by the situation that you end up going through the motions rather than breaking that situation by calling your mom. Or like they're acting like it's normal so you try to convince yourself in the moment it is or that it isn't a big deal to ease some of your discomfort. Wonder if they successfully used that tactic on some other poor kid before. X5, amount of smoke alarm battery warning beeps. All going off every 10 minutes. No need to replace the batteries. Just get used to the beeps going off randomly, and then sometimes all at the same time. How do you live, or even sleep with that happening? This was a huge thing while teaching virtually this year. My mom's a teacher. She talks about this all the time. She got to the point where she started calling the fire station and having them send someone over to change their batteries and explain that the beeping isn't normal anytime she heard it. A neighbor's dad was an avid fisherman and he will use these electrode things in the lawn to get worms to come up that he was gonna use as bait. He would also eat some of the first ones to come up to check if they tasted right. If not, he would remove the electrodes and try again another day. Now I need to know how they're supposed to taste and why this man knows what fish like in a bait worm. I remember asking what they were supposed to taste like and I never really got a clear answer. I didn't think to ask him how he knew what they liked though. Serve ice cream with their hands. Crime. My cousin once dated a guy who did that. We were at my aunt's house for a birthday party and when it was time for cake and ice cream this guy refused cake and said he'd just have ice cream. He walked over to the table, popped the top off the ice cream carton, grabbed a handful of ice cream and was walking around with his handful of ice cream dripping all over the place like it was totally normal. When I was 9 or 10 I stayed at this friend's house for the first time. So we were sitting at the kitchen table eating noodles and his mum said something. To which he screamed back at her, "Get duck chair on." She didn't even bat an eyelid. Didn't even care. I couldn't help thinking what would happen if I tried that at home. It would have been at least an ass whooping. Were you eating with the Osbournes? Ooh oh man, I've been there when I was staying at a friend's house for the first time. She asked her parents to take us somewhere and when they said no, she lost her shit. She started screaming at the top of her lungs and crying, "You ducking a-holes. I ducking hate you both. You're shitty piece of shit parents." We were like 13-14. The weirdest part was they just sat there ignoring her and shaking their heads. If I ever spoke to one of my parents that way, I guarantee they would have kicked me out or beat me with a wooden spoon. Everyone took their shirts off at the dinner table. Yep, I like this one a lot. It's harmless but suru weird. Hey, you hungry? EHH. A little, but not enough to take off this button up. My friend got backhanded across his kitchen. He slid across the floor to me. After about a 5 count, he got up and we went and played chess. Future chess boxing champ right there. His mom walking around topless barking at your list while we just sat around the coffee table working on homework. She was a single mom working multiple jobs. They were latchkey kids. They didn't even bat an eyelash, but the minute she saw a new face sitting on the rug boring a hole into the distant wall, she shifted on a dime, ducked into the mudroom, threw on her bra and work shirt, and brought out a carton of Oreos from a secret stash and was pretty much shocked into silence. I think she was terrified I'd misappropriated to my parents, but all we cared about was cookies. Sounds like that one scene from Malcolm in the Middle, when topless Lois answers the door for Malcolm's teacher. A roughly 4 feet long python roaming free around the room at a gathering with guests. Snake was chill as duck but still. Bruh, who you hanging out with? Voldemort? Best part was, I crashed on the couch drunk with the snake still loose in the room. That was one chill. Big snack. Jesus. This thread is eat hot dogs with ranch or openly molested by family members with nothing in between. You missed all the dog ducking. One of the first times I met my husband's family, I was over at their house and husband gestured for me to sit down and be comfortable. Their house was really very cluttered. Not quite hoarder cluttered, but close. They had a couple of couches facing each other and then some other chairs. Not knowing the rules, I sat on one of the couches, which had a lot of stuffed teddy bears on it. OMG, you would think I had sat down on live bears. There were probably 20-30 small, medium stuffed bears on this couch. Husband's mother and twin brother both visibly reacted as if I had damaged the bears. Open bracket. Not antique bears either. That was when I was told that the couch was for the bears, and only for the bears, and that no one was allowed to sit on the bears' couch. Just the bears. The bears all had little beaded necklaces with their names on them to tell them apart because they were all the same brand and style. And you married him after the bear seating snafu? OP can't reply. There is another bear on that sofa now with the cutest little necklace hanging round its neck. Floridine Rudder. It says, such curious affairs. My friend's mom always gave me a box of food when I came over. One day as I left, she just handed me a box of Hot Pockets, as if it was just a small trinket. One of my best friend's parents do this. It actually saved my ass a couple really tight months. Honestly, handing me a box of groceries is better than handing me a $20 bill. They also supplied me with 2 bags of apples a week for like 3 weeks. I ate so many apples, lol. In high school, my best friend and I worked together. He was having a bit of a rough family life at the time due to his parents getting a divorce. He would always come to my place before work when we got out of school. My mom would make us food a lot of the time, tossing some chicken on the grill or just a hot dog or something sometimes. At the time I didn't think anything of it. Looking back now, and after some conversation, I've realized she knew that he could use a meal. Mountain Dew with pancakes for breakfast. The kids had fritters for teeth. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.